I'm so nervous.
Get the out of here.
We are back with one of the craziest lockdown episodes of Catfish that we have ever had. This is season 8, episode 29, Jason and Mar. Before you ask, the necklace is from Show Pony Piercings, and the lip gloss is Fenty Gloss Bomb in the shade Champ Stamp Fantasy, okay? Get it out the way for the girls. But I do have a brown lip liner on, and then I put the gloss on top. But like I said, we are back with another lockdown episode, and we start off the episode with an email from Marcella, who is reaching out on behalf of her brother Jason. He is from California, and she is convinced that he is being catfished. He has been talking to someone he met on a hookup app for 2 months, and I'm just going to assume it's like Tinder or Grindr, because I feel like those hookup apps were really jumping in the pandemic. Not that I would know, but that's what I've been told. They also bleep out where exactly he's from in California, which is interesting to me because if anybody knows him, then they're going to know exactly where he lives. But anyways, she is concerned because they have never spoken on the phone. They've never video chatted. Jason has been stood up twice, and Jason has been sending money to said catfish. Lord have mercy. Jason recently went through a bad breakup, so that could be why he is tolerating all of this bullshit shenanigans in the ultimate pursuit of love, which I feel like is very relatable because I feel like a lot of people do crazy things for love. Not me though, y'all be easy. But y'all, it gets even crazier because we then find out that Jason is a pastor. This might be the first pastor we've ever had on the show, and I mean pastor in terms of like the Christian denomination. The host wastes no time hopping on a call with Marcella, Jason's sister. They make small talk, and in this small talk, we find out that she is actually not Jason's sister. They have just been best friends since college, so they're like brother and sister. She then says that they have never hooked up because Jason is gay. And Nev calls out his own assumption that this was a straight episode, that because Jason is a pastor that, you know, he's straight, but he's not. Kamie says that that makes him a pretty progressive pastor, but she is absolutely horrified when she finds out that Jason's type is light-skinned pretty boys.
We just love light-skinned pretty boys.
Oh God.
If you know why that's scary, you know, and if you don't know, I'm not going to be the one to tell you. Jason has always been openly gay, according to his sister. And personally, I love that his sexuality is not a hindrance to his spirituality, because I don't think it should be. I don't think that your sexual orientation, who you love, should stop you from pursuing spirituality if that's really what you want to do. And I really admire that he is who he is. He doesn't feel the need to hide it, because that is often what will happen. And I'm just speaking strictly for gay Black folks in the Christian church community because I've experienced it firsthand, or people that I love have experienced it. We find out that I was actually wrong about the app that they met on, and they actually met on Jacked, which I can't say I ever heard of that one, but that app sounds real freaky nasty. Real freaky nasty. We then find out that Mar lives in Vegas, and he only exclusively texts Jason. Every time Jason went to Vegas to meet him, he got stood up. Marcella then tells us that in the only 2 months they have been talking, Jason has sent Mar over $500.
Damn.
Now that is absolutely insane, and I feel like it's just next level stupidity in my opinion. I'm not gonna hold you.
Jason is very gullible.
And considering he has already gone to Vegas multiple times to meet Mar, Jason has likely spent thousands of dollars in hot pursuit of someone who truly could not give a damn about him. I always say, don't look at the words, look at the actions. The actions are showing Mar don't care. Marcella is honestly just dropping all of Jason's tea, and while I'm here for it because I'm a nosy outsider, I'm also side-eyeing her a little bit because it's like, why are you just putting your best friend on blast like that? But she tells us that the last relationship that Jason got out of actually was not just like a little relationship. It was a 2 or 3 year long marriage.
We listen and we don't judge, at least not out loud.
Not just a boyfriend situation, but we're talking marriage. Jason then hops in the Zoom and he is all smiles. And right off rip, he has such a nice warm aura, like he's very cheerful. But we all know that looks can be deceiving, especially on Catfish and especially in the Christian community. Okay, moving on. While I feel bad that he is in the predicament that he is in, I cannot understand how he remains this naive and this foolish. Nev wastes no time getting into how Jason's sexuality meshes with his religion. Jason says that his church is accepting while at the same time they're not. He says that a lot of the older members still believe that homosexuality is a sin and you're going right to hell for committing that sin, but a lot of the younger members are much more progressive and accepting. To me, it's such a shame that the older members of the community cannot support each other and support the younger folks in the community. I have my own fair share of religious trauma, and to me it's wild that in my experience, most of the members, whether they be young or old, were completely against the LGBTQ+ community, but would defend and protect the men in the church who were serial cheaters, serial abusers, serial thieves, and even pedophiles. But that's neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. They dismiss Marcella and we get to speak to Jason alone. We then speak to Jason about his failed marriage. He says that after a while, the love dissipated because he didn't feel like a husband. He felt like a sugar daddy.
But after a while, there's no love there. I felt more like a sugar daddy.
Be nice.
It's interesting that you felt like that, but somehow you fell right back into the same cycle, but keeping it pushing, keeping it moving. He and his ex are not yet divorced, but they are separated and working towards an ultimate goal of divorce. Jason says that he is genuine, he is looking for real love, and only a week after his separation, he met Mar.
Girl, don't play.
Child, it sounds like if there's one thing Mr. Jason's gonna do, it's keep a man. He tells us that Mar lives in Vegas, he works as a security guard on the Strip, and he is 21 years old, which, what? Because Jason is 32 years old, okay? Nev and I have the exact same reaction that I'm sure you and I are both having right now. Because why the hell would you pursue someone 11 years younger than you and expect commitment or any sort of serious situation? Why? I would like to know. Jason then says that his downfall is that he likes them light-skinned and young. Side eye, side eye. If this was my pastor, I am personally exiting that congregation as fast as I possibly can.
I think that's my downfall, like light skinned and young. I'm just like,
No,
oh my God.
no.
Because this is nasty behavior. If this was a man saying this about his quote unquote preference being young, light-skinned women, I'm sure the hosts would have had a completely different reaction. So that's one thing. But also the internalized colorism and self-hatred is loud. How as a dark-skinned man are you going to say that you exclusively date light-skinned men and you never take the time to unpack what is going on there? Never. The concept of desire has my people in a chokehold for real, because when are we going to stop calling it quote unquote preferences? And when are we going to start calling out what it really is? That white supremacy, colonization, and anti-blackness has ingrained in you that lighter is better and meant to be pursued and obtained in a romantic relationship, no matter what the cost, no matter what the personal detriment is. There is a difference between a preference and regurgitating the racist, colorist, bigoted beauty standard simply using different terminology. But once again, I fear this is a conversation that many aren't ready to have, and it was absolutely not a conversation that the Catfish hosts were equipped or ready to have. Moving on. Kamie brings up that Jacked is a location-based app, and Jason says that they matched when he was on vacation in Vegas on his last night in the city. Mar was only about 2 miles away, so Jason hit him up to hang out. He says hang out, but I think we all know he really means hook up. He really means bumping uglies. It's clear. Mar wasn't able to meet up because he said he had to work. Jason was understanding of this, so once he went back home, they just kept talking. Jason says that Mar makes him feel wanted and desired. But then in the same breath, he says that he is hesitant to text Mar when Mar is working because he always wants something and Jason will always give him what he wants, including sending him money without hesitation.
Are y'all stupid?
This makes Nev and Kamie absolutely lose it.
What?
Because Jason, it's time to wake the up, brother. Wake up. Wake it up. I hate to break it to this man, but at this point, it's pretty crystal clear that Mar does not desire him for genuine reasons. And this is pre-investigation. Jason then says that it's clear Mar is not doing anything maliciously, and he doesn't mind sending the money because Mar promises to pay him back. I think maybe this is just the triple Scorpio in me, but I'm always going to assume that you have malicious intentions in a situation like this. I'm not going to assume that the intentions are pure when nothing backs that up. But back to the episode, Kamie says, oh, well, has he paid you back? And Jason says, no, not yet.
Be fucking for real.
Take not yet out of that sentence and switch it with he never will, and then we'll be cooking with some gas and honesty. It then gets even worse when we find out that Jason doesn't even send the money directly to Mar, but he sends it to one of Mar's friends named Amber on Cash App, and then she sends it to Mar. Kamie cannot believe her ears.
His friends, Cash App.
And Jason just continues to bring up excuse after excuse as to why this whole situation is okay and makes sense, and try to explain how it's clear that Mar is who he says he is, even though nothing's giving that right now. Mar never answers any of Jason's calls or video chats, and Jason claims that he has never been able to find any of Mar's socials. He's not saying that he doesn't have them, he's just saying he hasn't been able to find them. It then just continues to get worse and worse and worse and worse, just when you're like, oh yeah, all the bad stuff's out the way. No, not even close. So we find out that Jason has not only gone to Vegas to try and meet Mar, but he has tried to bring Mar out to California. He bought Mar a Greyhound ticket to come out to Cali, and Jason was under the impression that Mar got on the bus, that he was on his way to California, so he went to the station to wait for him for hours. Mar never showed up, and he actually ghosted Jason. When Jason called Mar to figure out what was going on, a woman picked up the phone, asked who was on the other line, and then hung up. Sir, how can you be so stupid? How can you be so naive? Quickly, okay? Kamie gets to frantically waving her red flags, and I cannot even say that I blame her for that. Not even a little bit. Jason says that he has so much trust in Mar, and Nev says, well, how the hell did he earn that? And honestly, valid question. And I think what this is also doing is highlighting the fact that maybe Mar has not earned his trust at all. It was just given to him willy-nilly when it shouldn't have been. But Jason says that for 11 years, he held the secret that he is HIV positive. When he told Mar this news, he says that Mar took it really well, said that it was no problem, and he was more than comfortable to take PrEP, which is a preventative medication for HIV, for those of you who don't know. Jason says that this really meant a lot to him because there's so much negative stigma out there when it comes to HIV, so to be accepted in this way was significant and it means a lot to him. He says that he accepted everything that came with this mess of a situation simply because of how Mar accepted this one piece of who he is.
I just accepted everything that was going on.
To me, this now makes more sense as to why he puts up with the things that he puts up with. Do I still think that he should put up with those things? Absolutely not. But I understand the sort of emotional connection he feels, even though it's not reciprocated.
Allegedly.
Kamie then shifts the conversation when she asks to see pictures of Mar. Then Jason tells us that he only has 2 pictures of him. Y'all, we're only 10 minutes in and I am personally exhausted because what the hell is going on? Why do you only have 2 pictures of this man? Okay, we see the pictures and then we find, again, I said it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse because we find out that the pictures he has of Mar, only one was sent privately, the other one was taken from his jacked profile. Jason doesn't believe that it's his ex-husband messing with him, and he says that if he finds out that Mar is not the person in the photos, it would destroy him, but either way, he wants to know the truth. As soon as Jason hops off the call, both Nev and Kamie go all the way off.
Oh, hell no.
They cannot believe how typical Catfish this situation is, and they agree that Jason does not deserve to be taken advantage of in any way. We start the investigation, and when Nev finds out that Jason doesn't even know Mar's last name, he cannot do anything but roll his eyes all the way to the back of his head. Can't say I blame him.
Doesn't even know his last name.
But they decide to start by reverse image searching the pictures, and unfortunately, they don't come up with any hits. So they then decide to search the Cash App username, and unfortunately, there are no results on Google. But Kamie then decides to look up the name in her own personal Cash App, and it comes back, of course, linked to an account with a picture. Our hosts then decide to try and run that Cash App profile picture, which also doesn't come back with any hits. There is finally a break in the case when they search Mar's phone number and they get a hit. It says that the owner's name is Eric D. Jr. It's a cell phone, they do live in Vegas, but the age says that he is 50 5-0, okay? Which is a huge, ginormous red flag. But Nev says that this could potentially be Mar's dad, especially when taking into account that Mar is again only 21. I think it's possible that this could also indicate that Mar is a professional sugar baby and Mr. Eric D pays for his phone. Just an idea, just a thought, okay? But a relative also pops up on when they search the phone number named Mary. I'm not sure if this is relevant, but I'm telling you anyways. They think that this could be who the catfish is because Mar, Mary, basically the same name. But they decide to search for Eric D on Facebook and they get a hit right away for an older white man who lives in Las Vegas. Who lives in Las Vegas. He has a post on his page with a thin blue line talking about support cops and security on the strip.
Bombastic side eye.
First of all, ew, very much FTP over here. But this post makes Kamie think that this could in fact be Mar, because remember, Mar says he works as strip security. However, a further stalking of this man's page shows that he is married to a woman, he has kids and all the straight stuff that people do.
What an odd thing to say.
Nev says that it could be him and he just lives this secret online life. And at this point, all signs are kind of pointing to Eric D. Jr.
Every time I thought of Eric D. Jr., I just thought, what does the D stand for?
Ew!
I'll be here all week, people.
Kamie jumps in and says that if it is truly just an older guy who wants to experiment with his sexuality on this gay dating app, the financial part of this situation makes no sense, right? Like, why would he be getting money sent to him? But at this point, I personally have no idea who it is. I don't think they know who it is either, as they don't have any concrete proof of anything. So they're thinking it could be the guy in the pictures, it could be Eric D, it could be Mary, it could be Amber, or it could be Jason's ex. But one thing they can both agree on is that Mar is a liar.
All those little lies suggest to me that everything is a lie.
Which, no shit, Sherlock. Jason then hops back in the Zoom and they fill him in on their findings while making it clear that all of this only raises more questions. Nev says that if he had to put money on it right now, he would guess that Eric D is the catfish. Jason says that he hopes not because this man is not his type whatsoever.
God, I hope not.
Yeah, we know, because he's not light-skinned and younger.
And
No shade. All shade. And Jason looks horrified to hear them attempt to explain why they think Eric is likely his guy. When Nev brings up their theory about it possibly being the ex, Jason isn't feeling like that's the truth. Him being so sure about that fact is quite confusing to me, especially because we are about to get into how exactly that relationship ended. By the way he was discussing things prior, it made it sound like he was the one who just walked away from the relationship because he got sick of being used, when in all reality, his ex stole his car, okay, stole Jason's car, left their home, and never came back.
He bounced.
Yeah.
What?
He stole your car.
Jason says that when he tried to report the car as stolen, he was told that it's not considered stolen because that's his husband, so it's considered like shared property. Jason, I told you, it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Jason then tells us that about a week and a half ago, his ex tried to call him, but he did not answer. And he also says that the only time his ex has tried to contact him since they ended things was when he wants money.
You're being stupid on purpose.
Now, for sure, Mar is a liar, but it also seems like Jason has been withholding information. Jason also tells us that the entire time they were together, his ex never worked. So again, this is just adding more of a reason why his ex would possibly be the catfish, right? Because he needs that money. He needs that money, honey. Nev and Kamie are trying to get Jason to open his eyes to the chance that the catfish could possibly be his ex, and at this point it likely is. But Jason is having a hard time accepting that, when in all reality, it should have been the very first thing that he accepted. Kamie then brings up the possibility that it's a woman behind everything doing this just to get money, like this is her hustle. This really upsets Jason because he can't comprehend why someone would wake up every single morning and go out of their way to use and mistreat someone. He says that he had hoped that in the end it would really be Mar, but at this point it's very unlikely. And in my mind, even if it is still Mar, he dog walked you, okay? And he's been using you for money this whole time. So like, even if it is him, who cares? You shouldn't want him.
What's not clicking?
Kamie says that it's time to hit up Mar and get him in the video chat. Neve gives him a call and tries to play it cool and mysterious, but he's having a hard time doing so when a woman is the one who answers the phone.
Hello?
She wastes no time hanging up on them, and Jason confirms that this is the same woman who answered when he called Mar sitting outside the bus station. Neve calls back and is direct this time and asks for Mar. The lady asks, "Who is this?" Neve briefly fills her in on what's going on, and as soon as he brings up Catfish, she hangs up again. Neve is very persistent, as we know, so he decides to send her a text message just being like, "Hey, you're a catfish. I know you're a catfish. We want to clear this up. Get back to me." The catfish reads that message right away, but does not answer right away. Kamie talks to Jason and tells him that there is no more room for optimism. They have to be realistic, okay? And Jason needs to figure out what it is exactly he wants to say when it's time to confront the catfish, because this is not going to end up the way that he wants it to. They decide to call it a night and hop off the call. The next day, Nev and Kamie hop back into the Zoom, where Nev shows us the sketchy and confusing message he got from the catfish last night. It says, "If you want to know who the catfish is, ask Jason."
Hey, yo!
I may have fucked up, but so did he. What does that even mean? What the hell is going on here? Nev and Kamie both agree that this message most likely means it's the ex, okay? Nev replies to the text message and asks for more details. He then gets very jaded and questions if everyone in the situation is lying, and he also questions if Jason's whole puppy dog persona is just a lie, just a farce. And I would say, based on my own personal experience, okay, people in the church are very skilled at putting on that puppy dog persona thing that Jason's got going on. So it wouldn't shock me if it all is just an act. Also, it's catfish, so that double wouldn't shock me. They get Jason back on the Zoom and they waste no time getting into it. After finding out about the text message, Jason stutters and stammers before Nev interrupts him and says, "It doesn't feel like we're getting the whole story here." Jason then hypothetically questions if he hurt someone and didn't realize. Again, that whole victim puppy dog thing. Kamie then asks Jason if he's ever dated girls in the past, and alludes to it being a lady that he did wrong who is now seeking revenge. He says that he has dated a girl and it was about a year ago.
Have you dated girls in the past?
One a year ago.
What?
You done lost your damn mind.
What the hell is going on? Okay, the problem here is not that you dated a girl and you didn't disclose that. You don't have to tell anybody that. The problem here is that a year ago, you were married.
What the fuck is up, Kyle?
You were married. Not only were you married, you're a pastor. You're a married pastor. But you had an affair with a woman?
Oh, you nasty.
Nev says, wait. So you had an affair with a woman while you were married?
Wait, but hold on a second. You were married. You had an affair?
Jason stutters and stammers while trying to say no when it's crystal clear that that is in fact what has happened. To me, this could also potentially explain why his ex decided to just pack up and leave without saying a word. According to Jason, because now we know that he is not a reliable narrator, so this might not even be what actually happened. But what I will say, okay, hearing that a pastor cheated will never be shocking to me personally, regardless of their sexual orientation. I will just never be shocked to hear that.
You are a shameful citizen.
Jason says that it wasn't an affair because they didn't do anything sexual, but then says that they kissed, but nothing sexual.
What the hell is even that?
Everybody's so creative.
You were having an affair. Whether the affair progressed to a sexual affair doesn't matter. You were still having an affair, right? Neva's like, what the are you actually talking about right now? What are you talking about right now?
I wouldn't call it an affair. Yeah, we kissed, but I mean, I don't look at that as sexual.
What?
Kamie then asks if the woman thought that they were in an exclusive romantic relationship, to which Jason says that he's unsure. Again, I don't know if I believe him or if he just doesn't want to answer that. But then Kamie asks if she knew that he was married, and Jason says she had no idea. What the Jason? What? Nev is like, you never brought this up, when in all reality, it would give both your ex-husband and this woman motive to be doing you dirty currently. Jason then admits that this woman had also asked him for money. He says that he gave it to her.
I said so? Wait a minute.
So it's like, and you didn't think to bring this up? This was pulled out of you. This was forced out of you. You didn't think, yeah, that's really relevant to the situation at hand? You didn't think that?
You stupid.
Okay. Kamie says that it could be a fair lady and ex-husband working together as Mar. Jason then attempts to victimize himself further in the situation by saying that he is unsure of what he did to hurt someone to make them go to this length to hurt him back.
I just don't know what I did to hurt whoever it is to even go to this point, to even be sitting here talking to you guys.
Be fucking for real.
My guy. You just spent the last 10 minutes telling us exactly why someone would do this to hurt you. What's not clicking? What's not going on up here, okay? Hamster wheel, is it not running? This innocent vibe is no longer going to work out now that you have finally been honest, but only after you were fully backed into a corner and you had no choice but to be honest. Nev then decides to call the catfish once again, and this time it goes right to voicemail. He then sends a message to the catfish encouraging them to come clean. The catfish responds right away and actually agrees to join the Zoom. Kamie says that if this is really Mar, she is going to fall out of her chair.
If it is Mar, I'm gonna fall out of my chair.
Okay? The catfish hops in the Zoom call, and Kamie makes good on her promise.
What's tea?
We see that the catfish is in fact Mar, the guy from the pictures, okay? He hops in with a bust down chain with his name on it, and he confirms that his name is Omar, he is 21 years old, and he lives in Vegas. We then see Jason's reaction to all of this, and we see that he is actually still wearing his wedding ring, which, what the is going on? What's going on? Omar says that the woman answering the phone was his roommate, but she had nothing to do with all of this. It was all him. He said that he just asks her to answer the phone when a number he doesn't recognize calls because he doesn't want to do it, which that's a very 21-year-old thing to do. No shade. No shade. Omar says that he didn't want Jason to know who he really was, and he didn't want Jason to think that he really wanted to be with him because he did not really want to be with him. Girl, what? But honestly, like, you could tell that he didn't want to be with Jason. But to go this far is just, this is just an awful situation. Jason questions why Omar was doing all of this and acting like he wanted to be with him if he in fact did not really want to be with him. And Omar says because of the money. It was easy money. He then just, this is when I'm like, wow, this man is really awful, okay? He says that Jason was his sugar daddy. He was a good target because he is stupid. Like, really stupid.
My sugar daddy, I used him for his money. He was a good target. He's stupid. He's really stupid.
Disgusting!
Oh my God. Okay, Jason, I'm not really sure if he's a good person. I can't really tell, honestly, but Omar sucks for this. He sucks so bad to use someone to manipulate their emotions and then talk about, yeah, you're fucking stupid. Maybe we should jump him. Who said that? Who said that? Omar confirms that he does have a job and he can financially support himself. So with Jason's money, he was just buying himself luxury goods and then he like pulls on the chain. So you were out here using this man for money because you wanted a chain. But then at the same time, I'm like, Jason also needs to take some sort of responsibility because you're going out of your way to pursue young ass men. I don't know. This is wrong in this situation. Omar is dead and dirty and wrong for this. Omar then makes things even worse for himself. In my opinion, he becomes a catfish supervillain in this moment by saying that he never needed money for Ubers because he has a whole car. Not just a piece of a car, but a whole car.
Honestly, I told you I needed an Uber, but I didn't need an Uber. I got a whole car.
Fucking idiot. Jason then says that he lives paycheck to paycheck and he was digging into his bill money to be able to send anything to Omar because he thought Omar really needed it and he thought that they were building a relationship. Nev then jumps in and asks what Omar meant when he said that Jason also messed up. This idiot then fixes his lips to say that Jason is the catfish. How, Sway? Omar says that on Jacked, Jason was using old pictures, so he's really the catfish. You lied, you scammed, you used this man for money, but somehow he's in the wrong? If we're comparing who's more wrong in this situation, it's clearly Omar, so like, don't f***ing play me, okay? Be serious. Jason then shows us the picture, and honestly, it still looks like Jason now. It has a heavy filter on it, it's angled, he might have gained a little bit of weight since then, but it looks like Jason. There's no thinking like, oh yeah, that's a completely different person. That's the same person. And as much as I think Jason sucks, and he's made a lot of mistakes, and he's lied a lot in this episode, seeing him with this much hurt and pain in his eyes is very heartbreaking. Like, I cannot help but feel bad for him in this moment because Omar is such a dick. Nev and Kamie are like, yeah, f that. Fuck that, you're full of shit, okay? Omar then says, well, look at him, and then look at me, he's not cute.
Look how he look. Like, he's not cute.
Here we go. Here we go again with the colorism whooping y'all's asses. Omar is not cuter than Jason just because he's young and light-skinned. Jason is a very attractive man. If we're just talking physically, because I don't know what's going on the inside. Just physically speaking, that's an attractive man, okay? It's wild to me because the same reason that Jason went out of his way to pursue Omar is the same reason Omar feels justified in calling him ugly and unattractive.
Clock it.
Jason looks absolutely defeated in this moment, and that is truly gut-wrenching to watch. No one deserves to be made to feel ugly and demeaned by some twit who looks like Sid the Sloth from Ice Age. Kamie is having none of it, and she defends Jason. She affirms that he is in fact an attractive man.
He's a handsome man and he's a kind person.
And I really like that she did this because this is what needed to be done in this moment. Jason needed to be affirmed, Omar needed to be shut the hell down. And just when you thought Sid the Sloth could not stoop any lower, he does. Oh my God, he does, okay? He brings up Jason's HIV diagnosis as another reason that Jason is unattractive.
He told me that he had HIV.
You low down, dirty, nasty dog. This man is all types of ugly, nasty, and evil, both inside and out. Kamie clocks the out of Omar, like you're judging him for his honesty, you're judging him for being vulnerable with you, you're judging him for his transparency, because honestly, he didn't have to tell you any of that. How, and she asks him, how does degrading another gay man who is a part of your community, how does that benefit you?
What benefits you out of degrading Jason?
You're disgusting and you're disappointing. Kamie then, she eats him up here when she says that she has 13-year-old sisters who have more class than Omar is demonstrating right now. And this intellectual read makes Omar shut the up.
More dignity and class than what you are demonstrating.
Nev then steps in and basically affirms everything that Kamie said while adding that Jason deserves to be supported. The whole time, Jason just looks like he wants to cry, and hopefully his pain was mitigated by the way that both Kamie and Nev stood up for him. Omar then says that a lot of the blame can't be put onto him because Jason kept sending money. Nev says, yeah, that's bullshit, okay? He was acting from a place of genuine love, care, and compassion, but you, Sid the Sloth, acted out of a place of greed and selfishness. So there is shame on you, Sid, but there is no shame on Jason.
There is shame on you, but not on Jason.
Okay? Clock it. Omar then says that he does not feel sorry, but he will send Jason back his money. Girl, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that at all. Kamie says, okay, send it now. But Omar says, I'll send it to you after the show. AKA, he's gonna wait till that Catfish paycheck hits and use that money to pay him back if he plans on paying him back at all. Omar says that he is not putting on an act, and Kamie says, oh, so you're just a human then, yeah? Good, good, good. Glad we got that out the way. This gets Mr. Sloth hot, gets him heated, and now he's getting saucy with Kamie.
Calm it down with me. Thank you, you're dismissed.
She cannot do anything but laugh, and he just keeps acting like he's the baddest thing since sliced bread.
You're dismissed.
Kamie gives Sid one last final read before dismissing him because she actually has the power to do that, as it is her show that he is a guest on. Jason says that he doesn't want to see Omar's face. Omar says that he doesn't want to see Jason's face either, and then hops off the call. Kamie and Nev then take this opportunity to gas Jason up, to remind him in his heart that he is a good person, that on the outside he is attractive and he is desirable. He deserves love, he has nothing to be ashamed of, and he will find someone who loves him for him. Nev tells him to stop dating men online who refuse to date him in real life. Jason soaks in all of their words. You can physically see him like absorbing every positive and affirming thing that they have to say to him before thanking them for their help and hopping off of the call with a big smile. Nev then dismisses Kamie, to which Kamie says, in our follow-up, we find out that Jason and Mar have not spoken since filming the show, which thank God for that. Jason says that he has taken a break from dating, which thank God for that too, and is focused on helping his flock deal with church closures due to the lockdown. Omar says that he did some soul searching and paid Jason back right after filming. However, weeks after Omar said this, Jason had not received any money from Omar and said that he never expects to. So in conclusion, everyone in this episode sucks, and sucks bad. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, leave a sloth emoji down in the comments for Mr. Sid the Sloth himself. I obviously had a lot of feelings and opinions throughout this episode, and you heard them throughout, so I can't wait to hear what you think. I think that it's very interesting, the episodes that we have seen in terms of this show that explicitly show colorism have been with two gay couples, two black men specifically. Maybe there's been 3, but I remember 2 for sure. And I think this one was very evident. It was very obvious. And I think it was very unfortunate. I think that Jason needs to do a lot of unpacking to understand why he keeps stepping to the sugar daddy cycle and why he keeps going out of his way to specifically pursue light-skinned young men. And I think in the black community, there needs to be a general unpacking of colorism, of what that really is, understanding that it cannot go both ways. You don't experience colorism if you're lighter skinned. You can absolutely experience discrimination, but that's different from experiencing colorism, and how harmful that really is and what that really lies in. And we're talking of institutions, not just your own personal experience, but institutional and systemic power. If you liked the video, then make sure to like the video, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification so you are aware of every single time that I upload. If there's another episode you'd like to see me cover, you can drop it down in the comments below. Another series you'd like to see me cover, you can drop it down in the comments below. Or you can also follow me here on Instagram. Send me a DM over there. Look at what we got going on over there. We have fun over there, okay, besties? I thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you deeply, and I'll see you in the next video.